Cake mix can be an easy and delicious way for home bakers to make some of their favorite recipes. However, it can be a struggle to know what to do when the recipe calls for 18.25 ounces of cake mix. Since standard cake mixes are 15.25 ounces mixes, the 3 ounces can make a difference. It can be frustrating to make a recipe, only to find out you don't have enough cake mix. Most of the time, you will have a hard time finding cake mixes that are 18.25 ounces. Fortunately, there are some simple steps you can take to fix this problem. Change in cake mix size. For a long time, the standard size of a box of cake mix was 18.25 ounces. However, now it can be difficult to find that size, as most brands have shifted to smaller sizes. In many cases, you will find that boxed cake mixes are now 15.25 ounces. So what led to a change in size? Well, when a company changes the size, it is less noticeable than increasing the price. The cost of the ingredients went up, so big companies responded to this by decreasing the size. When purchasing a box of cake mix, most people won't inherently notice that the size has changed if the packaging stays the same. However, people will notice an increase in price when checking out. Even with the smaller size, the cake mix can still be used to make a 13 by 9 inch cake, 2 8-inch round cakes, or 24 cupcakes. The companies adjusted the recipe, so it will still work for these standard sizes. However, if you aren't following the recipe on the back, and are using a different recipe, you will notice a difference. What to do if a recipe calls for 18.25 ounces cake mix? Fortunately, there are a couple of easy methods that can help you add more to your cake mix. This will allow you to still bake your favorite recipes with cake mix without worrying about a change in the consistency and flavor. Keep a spare box of cake mix in a mason jar. One simple solution to this problem is keeping a spare box of cake mix on hand. Simply pour your cake mix into a mason jar, and whenever you have a recipe that calls for 18.25 ounces, measure 3 ounces out from your jar. Simply use a kitchen scale to measure out 3 ounces of cake mix, and then add it to your 15.25 ounces mix. This will ensure you are getting just the right amount of all the dry ingredients. Be sure to label your mason jar with the cake mix's expiration date, so you know how long it is good for. Add flour. If you don't want to bother with a spare box of cake mix, or you simply just run out, using all-purpose flour can work as a substitute. This option is better if you have a cake mix that is 16.5 ounces, as any more than that you will want to add some baking powder. For turning a 16.5 ounces cake mix into an 18.25 ounces mix, add 6 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. If your box is 25 ounces, add in 11 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, along with a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Make your own mix. If you are looking for another option to increase the amount of your cake mix, you can easily make your own. It only takes a few common pantry staples in order to create the mix. For the mix, combine 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Mix all the ingredients together until thoroughly combined, then add the mix to a mason jar. Whenever you need additional cake mix, simply scoop 6 tablespoons of the mix to go from 15.25 ounces to 18.25 ounces. This will result in a delicious, flavorful cake. The remaining mix you made can be stored in the mason jar whenever you need it again. Easy and effective ways to get more cake mix. Boxed cake mixes are a simple and delicious way to make cakes. They are convenient to buy and come in many different flavors. However, now that most boxes are 15.25 ounces, it can be annoying when your recipe calls for 18.25 ounces. Fortunately, there are some easy ways you can add to your cake mix to achieve the amount you need. These tricks will allow you to continue making some of your favorite recipes. Do you have any questions on what to do if a recipe calls for an 18.25 ounces cake mix? If so, please ask them in the comments down below. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.